The new French Parliament, with its evolving policies, emerging political dynamics, and the growing fragmentation of political forces, poses substantial risks to the country's economic stability and future growth prospects. At the heart of these concerns lies the potential for increased instability and unpredictability in policymaking, which could have far-reaching implications for both domestic and international perceptions of the French economy. Given the rise of populist, far-left, and far-right factions, the traditional centrist approach to governance is under strain, leading to a more polarized political environment. This fragmentation often leads to difficulties in crafting coherent, long-term economic strategies that address the diverse needs of the country while promoting sustained growth. Political gridlock, ideological divisions, and competing agendas between parties may not only create uncertainty but could also prevent necessary reforms from taking place. This could result in a lack of consistency in economic policies, hampering businesses' ability to plan for the future and discouraging both domestic and foreign investment. One of the key concerns is the possibility of drastic increases in taxes, particularly on large corporations and high earners. If the Parliament enacts policies that heavily tax businesses or introduce burdensome regulations, it could make France less attractive to investors, entrepreneurs, and companies looking to expand. French businesses could be forced to absorb higher operating costs or risk relocating to countries with more favorable tax climates, which would directly impact job creation and productivity. Additionally, heavy taxation could reduce disposable income for consumers, further constraining domestic demand and leading to slower economic growth. In a globalized economy where competition for investment is fierce, policies that undermine France's economic competitiveness could result in job losses, a slowdown in innovation, and an overall decline in France's position as an economic power within the European Union and globally. Alongside this, there are concerns about the government's fiscal management, especially regarding public spending. If the Parliament chooses to increase public spending, such as through expanded social welfare programs or public sector employment, without a clear plan to boost revenues or reduce inefficiencies, the country's debt burden could increase significantly. France already has a substantial national debt, and further borrowing to finance social programs could lead to inflationary pressures, reduced investor confidence, and potentially a downgrade in the country's credit rating. Such a downgrade would raise borrowing costs for the government, exacerbate debt servicing challenges, and could crowd out private investment, further slowing economic activity. In the worst-case scenario, this could lead to a debt crisis, undermining France's financial stability and its ability to fund essential services like healthcare, education, and infrastructure. Another crucial issue is France's labor market, which has long been characterized by rigid regulations and a lack of flexibility. The new parliament could be tempted to push for more stringent labor laws that, while aimed at protecting workers, may have unintended consequences. Overly protective labor laws make it more difficult for businesses to adapt to changing market conditions, leading to lower labor market mobility and, ultimately, reduced productivity. If businesses are unable to hire, fire, or adjust labor practices in response to economic shifts, it could result in higher unemployment rates, particularly among young people and marginalized groups. Moreover, the expansion of job protections and social benefits, without addressing the root causes of unemployment or fostering labor market mobility, could further strain the economy by creating a culture of dependency on state support. In turn, this could slow the overall dynamism of the economy, making it harder for France to remain competitive in the global marketplace. In addition, the failure to implement necessary structural reforms could exacerbate France's long-term fiscal challenges. Key areas such as pension reform and public sector efficiency have long been areas of concern, with many experts warning that France's pension system is unsustainable in its current form. If the new parliament is unable to tackle these issues and push through meaningful reforms, it could place additional strain on public finances in the coming decades, as an aging population demands more from the state in terms of pensions and healthcare. The growing debt burden, coupled with rising social welfare expenditures, could push France toward fiscal insolvency, ultimately limiting its ability to invest in infrastructure, innovation, or public services that could drive long-term economic growth. Furthermore, the lack of consensus on major economic issues could weaken France's role in the European Union. As one of the EU's largest economies, France's political and economic stability is vital to the Union's overall performance. If internal political divisions lead to contradictory policies or erratic decision-making, it could undermine the unity of the European project, which is already facing challenges such as the aftermath of Brexit, the rise of Euroscepticism, and economic pressures from global competition. France's ability to influence European monetary policy, trade negotiations, and other key EU initiatives could diminish, leaving it in a more vulnerable position relative to other member states. If the French economy falters due to ineffective governance, it could also drag down the broader European economy, creating a negative feedback loop that affects trade, investment, and confidence across the continent. If the French Parliament fails to stabilize the political environment, find common ground on essential economic reforms, and strike a balance between social welfare programs and fiscal responsibility, the country could face a period of prolonged economic stagnation. This could manifest in lower GDP growth, rising unemployment, increasing inequality, and a weakening of France's global economic influence. While bold social policies might provide short-term political benefits, they could undermine long-term economic stability if not carefully aligned with responsible fiscal management. In the worst case, France could enter a downward spiral of debt, inflation, and social unrest, resulting in a loss of public confidence in the government's ability to steer the country toward a prosperous future. Ultimately, the success or failure of the new French Parliament will largely depend on its ability to navigate these complex challenges and implement policies that support sustainable economic growth while maintaining social cohesion. Without such a strategy, France risks compromising its future prosperity and economic standing in an increasingly interconnected and competitive world.